Well. Another week and another horrifying loss by my New York Giants. Hello, everybody. I am Deontay Adams, the host of yours truly, the Big Blue Rain of Fire, brought to you by the Sports Affiliation. So please feel free to check them out over on this YouTube channel, and please be sure to follow them on Twitter as well at the Sports Affiliate, where we have amazing content for you guys, amazing people for you guys to interact with, and believe me, they have been a huge help for me, and I guarantee that they'll be a big help for you. And our sponsors are brought to you by Better Now and for fantasy football advice. So please give those two guys a listen or just pop by and just see how amazing that they can do for you, right? First and foremost, right? On last night, right? Last night was probably one of the most heartbreaking ways I've ever seen this team lose as far as this season goes, right? First and foremost, shout out to the Bills for at least winning this game. It was a brutal and rough game, right? We had a game in which Josh Allen didn't look like himself, and where that entire Buffalo offense just really wasn't clicking, right? The defense, for the most part, held the Giants to only 3 field goals, but stuff happens. And somehow, some way, they were able to win this game, right? And I'll get to that little missed pass interference call, right? I'll get to that in a minute, right? But I would be remiss if I didn't congratulate the Bills on them winning that horrible game, right? This was a game in which the Bills were favored to win by 14 and a half points, and they won by only 5. So for all the sports bettors out there that were relying on spread, I'm sorry. You know, this game didn't really look like, the game that we in which we all expected, right? It didn't look like that at all, right? It's just two different teams going in two different directions, and stuff happened. There was a huge fight in the end zone, which I'll cover very, very soon. But all in all, hey, the Bills are still at the top. Well, I would say almost at the top of the division. They're 4-2. The Miami Dolphins are 5-1 after their win against the Carolina Panthers. It is what it is. The Bills are going to be a playoff team nonetheless, regardless. So, once again, shout out to the Bills, right? It was a tough game, and they just found a way to win. Despite everything that happened, they still found a way to win, right? So, once again, congratulations to the Bills, right? Of course, Josh Allen made me lose this week in fantasy along with James Cook. They had a combined fantasy score of, I think it was at least 13, 14 points. I could be wrong because Josh Allen did have double digits in this game. But yeah, like I said, they kind of lost my fantasy team. They kind of made my fantasy team lose. I was 4-1. Now I'm about to be 4-2. Well, I will say that Kittle did sell me during that Cleveland game, but that's a different topic for a different time, right? You all know why you're here. You know why I'm here, right? The New York Giants, right, fall to 1-5, right? Like I said, I did not expect this game to be as fiercely competitive as I previously thought, right? The expectation for this week's excuse me, the expectation for yesterday's matchup was that the Bills were just gonna dog walk all over us, right? But that didn't happen. That didn't happen. And why exactly did it not happen? Well, if there was one positive thing to take away from this game, it was the Giants defense finally stepping up and making plays, right? Despite how horrible our offense is, only scoring 3 field goals, right? Bobby Okereke, who was basically a tackling machine, I've seen some plays where he just got past the line of scrimmage, went up to the second level, and made a play, whether it was a tackle for a loss or just getting his big old pause in the year for pass deflections. Like the dude was practically playing his heart out all over the field yesterday. And honestly, he's worth every single penny that we have on this roster. So I expect him to keep up that same level of play, especially when we go on to face Washington. But I feel like this is the game in which Bobby Okereke really shined. And, we've been struggling to find a middle linebacker like him since the Antonio Pierce days. So it's really good to see. It's really good to see Bobby Okereke just getting out there and just performing to the best of his abilities. Shout out to Bobby Okereke, right? And as for the rest of the defense, I mean, we pretty much held the Bills, who have a potent offense, to 14 points, right? Only 14 points, which is kind of crazy considering the past few games haven't been friendly to us. We gave up 30 points to the Niners, and we gave up 40 points to the Dallas Cowboys. Jesus Christ, we gave up 28 to the Arizona Cardinals, and we gave up 24 to the Seattle Seahawks, right? So it was I'm not gonna lie, it was very shocking to see that it is shocking to see that we held an opponent to less than 21 points. So hey, at least the defense really shined in that aspect, right? So hopefully, this defense can give us some momentum going into this week against Washington, right? As far as the offense goes, dear Christ. The offense, right? Oh God, the offense. Even without Daniel Jones and even with Tyrod Taylor, we still couldn't put up a touchdown, right? We still couldn't put up a touchdown, right? As I'm peering through these stats, right? Hey, Tyrod Taylor had a decent game, 24 of 36 for 200 yards, right? No touchdowns though, but no interceptions either. No fumbles lost, no nothing. So hey, it is what it is. Tyrod played a solid game. There were instances where he looked like prime Lamar Jackson, and there was time where it was kind of a flashback to what he used to be in Buffalo, because mind you that he was Buffalo's former quarterback before Josh Allen was drafted. So him being able to make plays and keep the play and keep certain plays alive, even when our offensive line was just absolutely horrible. That really showed a lot of spark from him. So I'm very glad that Tyrod Taylor got a chance to shine in his start against the Bills, right? Saquon Barkley carried the ball 24 times for 93 yards, but he still couldn't find the end zone. Not once, but twice. He failed, right? But like I said, Saquon had a pretty decent game. We finally starting to get the run game going. It took us a little bit, but with Saquon back, I mean, he almost broke 100 yards rushing. He almost broke 100 yards rushing. So, like I said, it's good to have Saquon back after Jesus Christ, what feels like an eternity. With all these injuries to our roster and everything, it really feels good to have Saquon back for real, because we needed him now more than ever. And our leading receiver was none other than Darius Slayton, right? This is a guy who we brought back in the offseason for a 1 year deal, right? Out of all of the Giants receivers, well, outside of Sterling Shepard, I feel like Darius Slayton has been the most consistent receiver in terms of what he brings to the team and what kind of chemistry that he has to the team, right? And the fact that he goes out there, has 4 catches for, what is it, 69 yards, really says a lot. It really says a lot. So, like I said, you can hate on the man, you can love him if you want to, but I'm just glad that we have at least a consistent, what is it, ball catcher in the backfield, right? Or on the receiving core, right? And now here comes where I'm vaguely upset at this game, right? Boy, oh boy, cover your ears, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to go into a full blown rant. The end of the first half, that was some of the worst play clock management I've ever seen in my life. You mean to tell me that we give the ball to Saquon? Okay, fine. From the 1 yard line. Okay, fine. I have no problem with this. I have no problem with them giving the ball to Barkley because we paid this man what 12? No, 12, 11, no, 11, $13 million a year to go out and perform, right? And the first time he gets stuffed, and then the play clock is winding down, and we're trying to get back to the line of scrimmage so we can just snap it or spike it or whatever the case may be. And you mean to tell me with no time and this is with and keep in mind this is with with no timeouts left, that you mean to tell me that your people rush up to the 1 yard line with no sense of urgency, trying to spike it, and then the play clock hits zero, right? So you mean to tell me instead of kicking a chip shot field goal for Graham Gano, right, who has been for years one of the league's most accurate kickers, right? So you mean you can't give the ball, and Graham Gano's to score a freaking chip shot field goal? Are you kidding me? Are we serious? Oh my god. Oh god. The play calling, man. The play calling. It's terrible. I don't know what Mike Kafka is doing. I don't know what that whole entire offensive coaching staff is doing. I don't understand. You have been in Mhm. You've been in the league for years, and you mean to tell me that was your solution? That was what you came up with? Not only did Saquon get stopped, time was running out, and so you mean to tell me that you can't just simply kick a field goal to make it, Jesus Christ, at least a 3-point game? Are you freaking serious? Are we serious right now? Like Jesus Christ, it's just the play calling is infuriating. I cannot believe I had to witness that on last night at home. I can't believe I had to witness that garbage. I really can't. It boggles my mind because if we had kicked that field goal, I mean Jesus Christ, we were up freaking 6-0. If we had kicked that field goal, we would be up 9-0. And this wouldn't have come back to bite us in the butt, right? Look, I understand the aggressive play calling when you're that close to the 1 yard line, but when you have no timeouts, right? Look, I would just prefer if y'all were to no, well, passing on the 1 yard line really doesn't do any justice, right? But just imagine this for a second, right? Just imagine, right? You're at the 1 yard line, right? And you have no timeouts, and it's what 9 seconds, right? Do you decide to go for a run play, a passing play, or do you just simply kick the field goal with that amount of time left, right? Because when the Bills get the ball back, it'll be like what 3 seconds, and then they'll probably try to take a knee at the 25, and then boom, it's 9-0 halftime, right? So you mean to tell me that in all of the play that in all the ideas that you have in your playbook, right? You mean to tell me that in all of your spare time, right, you decide to not only use a play that's gonna chew up time, but you have no timeouts left. You have no timeouts left. Like, what are you doing? What are we doing? Like, I feel like, you know, and then and then that's that. So it was 6-0. going into the half. We should have been up 9-0, or freaking, I don't know, if our offensive line can just freaking push, we would have been up 13-0. So that's just my opinion, right? And then came that horrible 2-minute drive, right? Yeah, oh yeah, sure. We were just pushing the ball down the field. Tyrod Taylor was making throws, and then he had that spectacular run in order to get out of bounds at, like, with what, freaking 20, 15 seconds left, right? And then Darren Waller, right? He was simply running a route, and he was held. That was pass interference. They called that. And so now we get pushed to the 1 yard line again, but we only have 2 seconds left. We only have 2 seconds left, and we're down by 5 points. The score was 14-9. The Bills scored their only points in the fourth quarter. They didn't score in the first 3 quarters. Oh no, they scored in the final four, in the final quarter, because they knew what type of team they were facing. And can you imagine if the Bills had lost to the Giants on freaking Sunday Night Football? I would be destroying the place. I would be destroying the place. I don't know about you other Giants fans, but I would be livid. I would be destroying the place, right? But going back to those final 2 seconds, right? You're at the 1 yard line again, right? And then, due to the brilliant play calling of Mike Kafka, right? We not only did not, we only, not only did we not choose to run the ball again with our $13 million a year running back behind the backfield, right? We decide to go in, what is it, shotgun, and we decided to throw it to Waller, who was being held on like it was nothing, and there were no flags being called. There were no flags. There was nothing. There. So you mean to tell me that the second time that you were at the, what was it, at the oh yeah, the 1 yard line, you mean to tell me that you still can't find ways to get the ball in the end zone? Are we serious right now? See, if we had just kicked that field goal at the end of the first half, we would only be down 13-14. And we would only need a field goal to win this game. This is exactly what I'm talking about when play calling is one of the few things that we're now 1-5. That's one of the things in which we are 1-5, right? This play calling is just so pure garbage, man. Like, oh my god. Like, how do you not run from the 1 yard line? How do you not run from the 1 yard line with Saquon over there? At least do a quarterback sneak with Tyrod Taylor or something. I don't know. I don't know. I will say that was defensive PI on Darren Waller. He was being held on to like it was nothing, like I said, and the refs didn't call it. Serious case of ref ball, right? But the only way that doesn't happen is if we had just kicked the freaking field goal at the end of the first half. That is it. I swear to God, like I feel like I feel like I'm beside myself at this point, because what are we doing? What are we doing? And now, because of those horrible, horrible things that happened, we are now 1-5. We're 1-5. Oh my God. I the only, like I said, the only positive takeaway that I can get from this game is the defense, right? Oh yeah, sure, the defense played great. That's wonderful. But did we win the game? No, we did not. No, we did not. We did not win the game. We shot ourselves in the foot, man. And this game personifies how much we had shot ourselves in the foot. I just, oh my god, I feel like I'm just so deflated right now. I'm deflated. Hi Bella, thank you for so much for tuning in. I hope you're doing okay. Tyrod the homie. Yeah, I agree. I agree, Craig. He was basically one of the few bright spots in that offense, or let alone that team that year. This week, right? I, but like I said, we still lost. We are now still sitting at the bottom of the division at 1-5, and then this week we're facing off against our division rival in the Commanders, right? I believe it's our home game, so they're coming to MetLife. The Commanders recently, right? Jesus Christ! I mean, the Commanders have recently won against the Falcons, right? So, like I said, they're sitting at 3-3 right now. They're sitting at 3-3 right now, and looking at this upcoming schedule, I feel like the schedule's not going to get any easier. Like, look at the teams that we're facing right now, other than other than the Commanders, right? It's the Commanders, then it's the Jets, then it's the Raiders, then it's the Cowboys at their house. Oh God, no, Jesus Christ! Oh God! And then who else? And then it's just Jesus Christ. It's just, and then we got the Commanders again. Then we have the Patriots, and then it's the Packers, the Saints, the Eagles, the Rams, and then we face the Eagles again to close out the season. Oh my God! And our bye week is not until week 12, week 13. Oh my God! So it's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be a brutal 5 week stretch before our bye week. It's not looking pretty at all. Jesus Christ. The expect the expectation for this week, right? This is a divisional game. So of course it's gonna be fiercely competitive, right? I mean, Jesus Christ, we'll see if Daniel Jones plays in this game. But even if he does play in this game, what does it mean if he hasn't played well in the season, right? Yeah, I understand that he's 5-1-1 against the Commanders. He's had the Commanders number since we drafted the kid in 2019. We've had his number, but what does that mean if he doesn't even play well in this game? What is any of all what does all of this have to mean if we just simply can't go out there and compete, right? Not to mention that they still boast one of the, they're still pretty much a dark horse candidate at this point, even if they're at 3-3 right now, right? Obviously, they have Brian Robinson, who's a good running back. Obviously, they have one of the best receivers in the division in Terry McLaurin, who, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated receivers in the league, right? Their offensive line, it's a little shaky. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little shaky. They can be a little loose at times, right? They can be a little loose at times, right? I haven't mentioned Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, and Logan Thomas, right? So that's basically pretty much the bread and butter of this whole entire Commanders team, right? And then their defense, my God, their defense is it's not something to sneeze at, right? I mean, you saw what they did to Desmond Ritter. You saw what they did. You saw what they did to that Atlanta Falcons offense. You've seen what has happened. The Commanders' defense is no joke. Yes, I understand that horrible loss to them. Against the very same team that beat my team, right? It was something, right? But outside of that game, I feel like the Commanders' defense has been really been underlooked at times, right? It's been underlooked at times, right? I mean, this is going to be a tough week. This is going to be extremely tough week. And here are my keys to winning this game, right? We have got to keep whoever is in at quarterback. We have got to keep whoever is in that quarterback just simply upright. We can't afford to have this Giants O line give up that many sacks in this game, right? We can't give up any more than 4 or 5 because I'm not trying to have a repeat of what happened in that Seattle Seahawks game where our quarterback gets sacked 11 times and he can't make plays down the field, either with his arms or his legs. I just simply can't have that again. I can't have it again, right? And then the other element to our game to as to how we're going to win this game is Saquon. We have got to let Saquon loose. We got to turn him loose, right? We have to establish a strong running game presence in order to win this game, right? We have to. There's no other way. We if we don't get the run game going, we're gonna have to be forced. We're gonna have to be forced to throw, and even though Tyrod Taylor did a pretty decent job last night, I don't know. It's just something about that Washington secondary that's just a little. It's a little alarming, right? And according to this, the Commanders are what is it, 1.5 point favorites. So that's even with the Giants at home. Yeah, no, I this game is gonna be this is gonna be a very interesting game. And I'm not saying that because it's a divisional game. I'm just saying that overall, right? The stigma of the Commanders being 3-3 and 1-5. Just I don't know. Like I said, I'm not wearing this without any reason, right? Even though at times I feel disappointed in this team because I just put in so much expectation for us over before the season started that now looking back on it, I probably wouldn't have thought the same way as I do right now, right? Probably wouldn't do that. Okay. But like I said, the season is not over yet. Maybe there's still a way for us to turn this around. And the only way we do that is if we take these games game by game and we just simply score touchdowns. Like, can we just do that? Can we not go 3 and out almost every freaking drive? Can we not just like score a field goal? Like, can we just find ways to get into the end zone, please? Because quite frankly, if we can't continue to score touchdowns, then we have an issue. We have a problem. I don't know what's going on in that offensive coach's locker room, but something needs to happen. Something needs to change. Either Brian Daboll has got to take over play calling from now until the end of the regular season, or we need to change that offensive coordinator. Something has to change. Something has to break. Something has to give because I'm so tired of seeing my team go out there and just find horrifying ways to lose, whether it be by blowout or losing in heartbreaking fashion, like the spectacle that was last night. Shoot, I've seen more action from Dexter Lawrence and freaking Leonard Williams trying to freaking I don't know, body slam people than I've seen out of this whole entire Giants offense last night. If you ask me who the best player on the Giants is right now, I don't know. I'd say Bobby Okereke, but it's just really like I feel like us Giants fans have hit a new low when it comes to this team, especially during this season. I don't know what to expect, right? And quite honestly, I don't know what to expect for this Commanders team coming up, but we have just got to find ways to be competitive, right? I want our defense to have the same moxie and the same presence that they had against the Bills last night. we have got to find ways to shut down their offense, and we have got to find ways to score on defense. On offense. Of course, I would love to score on defense too, but it is what it is. So I hope that this game and moving forward, that the Giants can actually turn this thing around before it's too late, because I already have a feeling that it might be too late. But then again, this is the NFL and anything can happen on any given Sunday. It is what it is, right? It is what it is. So let's just try to dust off this horrible, heartbreaking loss to the Bills last night, and let's just try to move forward. That's it. That's pretty much my spiel, okay? And I that was pretty much my rant, okay? That was pretty much my rant, okay? Honestly, we we have to. I agree. We have to be able to block that D line, but it's just not going to be easy. Who knows if Andrew Thomas is coming back too? Like, if he does come back, great. If John Michael Schmitz comes back, great. But like I said, I'll keep you guys updated with the injury reports and everything leading up to Sunday's game. But until then, we're just hoping and praying at this point. We're just hoping and praying at this point. And that is it. That wraps up another episode of the Big Blue Rain of Fire. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and please be sure to give this video a like, comment if you want to, and subscribe to the sports affiliation. Please, we deserve all the help that we can get. And honestly, this journey has been incredible, to say the least. I mean, me just meeting amazing people at the sports affiliation, me getting a chance to do my own show and just being able to, you know, speak my piece, as a fan of the sport, not only as a fan of the Giants, but as a fan of football in general. Just being able to sit down and just being able to talk with you guys. It really, like, I'm doing this for y'all. So, and I love doing this for y'all. So even if my team, stinks, but I gotta keep the faith somehow. But once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in to this episode of the Big Blue Rain of Fire, and I will be back on next week as well. And moving forward, I will be posting on a more consistent basis. Just everything has just kind of been, wonky for the last few weeks, but I'll I'll be sure to keep things on track from here on out. And I've got a great supporting cast behind me to help me out. And that's it. With that being said, you guys have a nice night, and I will see you after the Commanders game on Sunday. Take care, guys.